Hey folks, what's up? Welcome back to another Polymaster video. So we had the Legendary Gauntlet dropping this reset, right? And like last time, I thought we'd, you know, in terms of preparation-wise, we'd do a video where we just put, you know, each unit that might be good against, you know, the opponent, right? And we'll see how all they, you know, fit in terms of, again, just which units you could probably use against each gauntlet. Although this time I'm not gonna go over like all the units, because like we did that last time and it just takes like way too long, and it's not really it's not really worth it. Like there's just a bunch of units that like, oh, they're kind of like bad, you could put them wherever as like a secondary damage dealer or whatever, right? So we're probably just gonna ignore those. We're just gonna go for like the main units and like big counters and stuff, right, that we could probably go into. And last time we didn't talk too much about tanks. This time we'll talk a bit about tanks, although again mostly for the support slash tanks. Again, most of the time, right, supports are just they're gonna be used for whatever you're trying to buff, right? But I thought we'd talk about like a few defensive supports, maybe some supports that have some tech capabilities that counter certain stages. We'll talk about those as well, right? So yeah, this time the Legendary Gauntlet, we have Entei, Tapu Bulu, and Tornadus. Shouldn't be a very hard one. I feel like of these three, Tornadus is probably the one that will bottleneck your runs, right? And just because like the other two are really not difficult, there's not like too many gimmicks they do, right, that you have to hard counter. I mean, there are some small things they do that are annoying, but there's a lot of different ways to counter those things, right? Whereas Tornadus, you do almost have to, you know, throw in a hard counter in terms of paralysis, right? So anyways, just a quick overview of these three. Entei's weak to water. Big annoying thing he does is he traps you on, I think, turn 3, right? Turn 3, he throws out like a fire spin and then, you know, traps your tank, and that's very, very early on. So like, not the entire way. I mean, you could get out of it later, but yeah, for quite a few turns, your tank will be taking DOT from that. Outside of that, he's not that big of a deal. The last stage, he does set sun and like have like AoE fire moves that burns your like team and stuff, right? And there's a few hard-hitting moves later on, but generally not a huge deal otherwise. There's plenty counters. As for Tapu Bulu, mainly he just sets grassy terrain, and he like heals in grassy terrain, like after he sinks, when he enters, has grassy terrain. So that's the Tapu Bulu gimmick. He has a wood hammer at like stage 3 that hits pretty hard. I mean, stage 2 he has like seed bomb that hits okay-ish hard. I mean, he's a bit of a mixed damage dealer, physical and special, but the like big damage dealing moves are more physical than special, right? His sync is also physical, so there's that, I guess. So yeah, he just hits hard. That's the thing. He sets up grassy terrain, and when grassy terrain is up, he just hits very, very hard. When grassy terrain's not there, you know, not as bad, but yeah. Tornadus is the tricky one of these three. So the basic gist of it is you have to paralyze this guy, right? You have to make sure you paralyze it at the right time as well, right? Because once you do paralyze it, on the first bar, he does use toxic, which is very, very, very annoying. So it depends on your team. Some teams you probably would want to take the toxics. Some teams you don't want to take the toxic, right? And if it doesn't have status, it uses rain dance. Rain dance does give him some like damage boost in terms of like his hurricane damage. He has raging rain, right? 5 or whatever, something like that. And so yeah, those are yeah, that the rain dance I think comes on turn 3 if you do paralyze it, and then if you do paralyze it, the toxic comes like the second turn after you paralyze it. So yeah, that's just one thing you have to really just take notice about, right? And yeah, also you do less damage when he's not statused, which in this case paralyzed. I mean, you could use like different statuses. Actually, no, I think he's actually immune to everything else, right? Yeah, no, he's immune to everything else except yeah, you have to paralyze him, and yeah, you should just paralyze him. If you don't paralyze him, he does less damage. He could also self-cleanse his paralysis. I think bar 1, bar 2, he has like a 20% chance of cleansing, and then like bar 3 has 30% chance or something like that. And yeah, that's the thing, right? Bar 3, like both physical and special moves get big damage reduction, and bar 1 and 2, I think it's one's physical, one's special. I think the first one is physical damage reduction, second one's special damage reduction, I believe. Anyways, so yeah, that's the thing with Tornadus. Just gotta paralyze him at the right timing, depending on your team. All right, so all right, let's talk about these, right? So that being the case, Tornadus should be the unit that you spend most of like your top priority in terms of allocating units, right? And so yeah, let's talk about each counters, and let's allocate some counters for them, right? So Tornadus, again, also weak to electric. So the big counter is paralysis, so you want to put as many paralysis units as you can on him. I'd say generally units with at least like a 40% chance to paralyze, even all 40% honestly is still pretty bad, but like at least 40, ideally 60% and up chance to paralyze would be a bit more reliable, right? Would be a bit more reliable. So units like, let's just look for paralysis units over here, right? Lieutenant Surge has guaranteed paralysis, right? Who else? We have Classic Elisa has a guaranteed paralysis as well. These two have different degrees of paralysis, right? She has a solid chance of paralyzing. His paralysis chance is pretty good, right? He can at 4 out of 5, right? But he also does have piercing strikes, or piercing blows, whatever, right? But do keep in mind, if you are running piercing blows or units that go through his damage reduction stuff, do keep in mind, yeah, you're going through a damage reduction, but if you don't paralyze him, all the other stuff are like happening as well, right? So just keep that in mind. Just don't just purely piercing blows your ways there. At least like have, like I would say, if you're running like a piercing blows unit, probably just run like have one of your lower paralysis chance units over there, right? Because again, you probably still want to paralyze them. Sophocles is a very good paralysis unit there as well. Could also nuke for them. He's really nice. He's really nice. The new where is he? New Colorist could also paralyze, so that's another option. Lisa could paralyze on Spark, right, with hostile environment. Who else? Again, there's other units like Hayaho could paralyze, but you probably don't want to do that with him. Also, why do I have 2 Haos here? So yeah, those are all options. Let me see if I could find a few more here. Oh, the new Singsu End, if you do have the hostile environment 2 on him, could also be a unit that could help paralyze, right? So that is nice. Let me check. I mean, there should be more, right? Mew has a solid chance to paralyze with the hostile environment if you sync with Mew and get Thunder, right? So don't forget about that one. Here's 2 more non-electric types, but Claire does have a chance with Dragon Breath on hostile environment, and then you also have Calum with Thunder Wave, 100%. And down here you have Singsu. Where is she again? Singsu Cynthia. I saw her a second ago. Oh, there. Singsu Cynthia, right? She also has Dragon Breath with hostile environment. And you also have Palatine's Serene over here with Stun Spore, I believe, right? There's a few other ones. You got Erica over here, the regular Erica. She has, I think, Stun Spore. And yeah, if you are going to use like any piercing blows units, probably use it against Tornadus, because that's the only unit with the damage mitigation, right? Also, if you have them as well, and you can use them on both this and Entei in terms of effectiveness, but if you I would argue it's probably better to use them on Tornadus, and I can't find him. Oh, SS Hilbert, right? If you do have him at, I think it's what, 3 out of 5, he has like this static brush 9, which paralyzes the opponent when you're attacking with when you're attacking electric weak. So there's that. Hexy also has, I think, Lick hostile environment, something like that. Another decent one is Whitney over here. Could also debuff opponent's physical defense. You could pair her up with a physical unit. I guess you could also use the Getsus as well, right? I think he also has hostile environment on his Noble Roar, not Noble Roar, Dragon Breath. What? Why would Noble Roar? Never mind. So that should be most of the paralysis, text and damage dealers. Let me just check down here. I mean, there's a few Eggmons I could do it as well. I believe the Tech Parasect, I think Tech Venomoth also has it. Or is that something else? Electabuzz, Tech Electabuzz, I think also has paralysis as well. So yeah, there's quite a few options in terms of Eggmons as well that you could go for. But yeah, as for some like supports and stuff that you could try, there's actually quite a few really nice ones. You could have, for example, Sonia, right? Sonia with the hostile environment on Spark. She's, you know, if you could get that going, that would be really nice. Or a Cynthia has, I think, numbing blows, right? I think is a guaranteed paralysis or something, right? I don't remember the number on it, but yeah, she could also paralyze. The recent Fall Alistair could also paralyze. They both have the same thing, numbing blows, right? I think it's called. And let's see, who else? I think Classic Red has it too on Body Slam, right? Speaking of Body Slam, I think Tech Tauros and Tech Kangaskhan also has something like that. Body Slam hostile environment for the Eggmons. Although Eggmons, if you're going for you know, not like guaranteed paralysis, it might be a bit tough sometimes, just because they're relatively frail. Drake also has it, right? Drake with hostile environment on his Dragon Breath. Why do I keep on bringing them down here? Drake has it, and then Classic Red again, right? And I believe I just saw it here literally just seconds ago. Oh, Singsu Brendan also has it. Hostile environment on Dragon Breath. With these, again, you do need a bit of luck, but I mean, he's also tanky enough to survive long enough for those tries to work. Because if you want the MC, Pika also has a bit of a chance, right? Also has some potions over there. You could maybe help yourself out there. Speed. It should be a solid unit for Gauntlet. I mean, low key. Oh, another one is the Jolteon, right? The newly dropped evolution, if you have that, I guess. And I think there's also like what, Tech Electrode probably has it too, something like that. And might be a few more I left out, but that should be a solid chunk of them, right? And as for like some damage dealers, I guess, maybe not most, but a decent amount of these also do damage themselves. But you also could have units like the BP Sophocles, right? Hau, obviously, Near's Volkner, and what else? I mean, the electric type damage dealers, right? Clement you could do. You could also tank with this healing as well. He could be a really nice unit to use. Maybe Annie Lily with the, with Moongeist Beam. As for like some other like more minor counters, I guess, for Tornadus, these are, not necessary, really depends on what teams you're bringing. You could also bring units that are immune to poison or have like full heal or have something to cure poison, maybe, if you want that. If you're just gonna eat the toxic, which is fine, or if you really, if your tank really can't take the weather or boost from the opponent, you could also bring in like some weather units to change the weather, right? So you could maybe run some weather teams in there as well. But that's all up to your own discretion. So we'll not get too deep into that. Moving on, let's talk a bit about the other two. We'll come back if I remember anything significant for Tornadus. But yeah, as for Tapu Bulu has a decent amount of counters too, right? A lot of things you could throw at it. You could, first of all, grass type units get free grassy terrain. Thank you very much, right? And then, both damage dealers and tanks, right? Tanks you get the healing, and then like damage dealers you get the extra damage boost. So thanks, Tapu Bulu. Very nice of it to set that. But outside of that, you could use some poison damage dealers. I don't think something like a Looker or like BP Marnie is gonna like carry you through the entire thing, because only one of it's just the middle gauge is weak to poison, right? And that's obviously it has 2 flying weaks. But the other thing is obviously, well, flying units, right? And one more thing, it is relatively weak to it's relatively weak to flinch, but I'd say in terms of like flinch and sleep, because Entei and Bulu are both weak to flinch and sleep. I'd say maybe give the sleep units to Bulu and then give the flinch units to Entei. I'm not saying, you know, that's always, but you could swap them around. But generally, I'd say maybe sleep units for Entei and then like flinch units for Bulu, right? So speaking of, let's first talk about some of the grass type units that you'd probably use against it, or take advantage. SS Leaf could be nice, whether it's a tank or to do some damage as well, debuff the opponent. SS Lyric is gonna obliterate that thing. I mean, to be fair, SS Lyric would obliterate like any stage, but Celine could take advantage of it, although maybe not as the sole main damage dealer. Sycamore as well. Again, maybe not at the sole main damage dealer, but Sycamore also nice that it has like poison damage as well. So you could, you know, for the 2 flying weak bars, you could use like grass type moves, and then like when soft poison, you could drop like Sludge Bomb or whatever. SS Eric, obviously very, very powerful grass type damage dealer. Same with SC Sonia and SC Rosa, all very, very, very good grass type damage dealers that could take advantage of the grassy terrain. Brendan there as well, also very self-sufficient. Gardenia, again, maybe not as the main damage dealer, but maybe like as a side, secondary damage dealer, you could throw it in. Mallow could also debuff the opponent's physical, you know, attack. So the Seed Bombs or Wood Hammers and Sync Move might not hit as hard, right? Could soften those up a bit. The new, relatively new Victor would also you know, fit that bill as well. Just, you know, grass type damagers, right? You get the free grassy terrain boost. Why not use it, right? Why not use it? As for some of the other weaknesses, you got, well, I mean, grass isn't like a weakness, but for the actual weaknesses, right? In terms of poison, you could use something like a Looker. Again, I probably not going to carry the entire stage because his damage outside of a super effective, I mean, his damage on super effective still not great, but his damage outside of super effective is pretty abysmal, so you probably want something else in there. As for flying, Duroc should be really good as well because he also has the, well, first team speed buffs, which is really nice. Also debuff the opponent's physical attack. Nate could do well there too. Blue, right? Blue too. Need a bit of support, but Near's lands. Also, obviously, flying type could take advantage over there. Lysander, especially with the grid coming up, right? So if you are planning to use Lysander, wait till like, you know, extra grid unlocks and stuff, right? Same for like all the other Paul Mouse's Day units that you could probably use. She might be able to carry it herself, right? Even if there is only 1 poison bar. Although, you know, there's no point not bringing in a second damage dealer, you know, just for some extra damage, right? Alistair might be able to carry it himself as well. Although, mostly himself. Again, you probably still want another damage dealer inside. All right, just for some extra bit. Plumeria definitely can't carry the whole thing by herself unless you just use like heavy supports, which is not worth it. Same thing with BP Marnie. She could probably do a bit on the second gauge. And what else? Lugia, obviously, in terms of flying type weakness. Holiday Skyla could do well there too. Where's the other Skyla? Can't find her, but Annie Steven should be very, very good there too. Annie Skyla, there's the other Skyla. Right, also has the flinches that could help a bit. He is, again, a bit susceptible to flinches. So, a few more grass types are almost forgotten. Maxi, right, with Solar Beam that could be helpful. Same for Mr. Silver and Ho-Oh, right? So yeah, the not grass type Solar Beam units could help. The recently boosted Xenia Mega Rayquaza with the newly acquired Dragon Ascent upon the power boost. Speaking of poison damage, SS Nidoking, another option there as well. You also do have Hurricane Leon if you want. Also, Kahili could be pretty good as well. Got a 1 gauge spam there too. Should be light on the gauges. As for some like grass type tanks you get, not that he is grass type, but Xerneas also again gets, you know, the more the Horn Leech does, right, the more he heals. So he could be nice there. Obviously, Rosa is grass type. She's not that great of a tank, but you know, as long as you can take advantage of it a bit, right? Lyra, as well. So Sunsetter buffs like everything offensively, and then you have Dawn, which is very, very, very good here. All right, for multiple reasons. She has her sync nuke and stuff. And what else? This Executor, I guess, also has a flinch stuff that could also come in handy and help at least a bit, right? And yeah, I think that's most of them in terms of tanks. Well, like grass type tanks specifically. I mean, if you want like any like other general ones, I guess just like physical defensive tanks. Even though they do have Bulu does have some special moves, but the special moves generally don't hurt as much. If you want, you could also use like some psychic terrain units here just to get rid of the terrain. Grassy terrain, you could also maybe like defog it if you want with units like again Duroc or Lycia maybe. All right, if I could find Lycia, but yeah, outside of that, sleep works relatively well, right? So you could maybe try to sleep chain him with like units like Serena, Ramos, right? You can find Agatha. There's Agatha. The new-ish Lapras, right? Hopefully she's not weak to grass. It shouldn't be weak to grass, right? Anyways, no, we should be fine. Anyways, what's the other? Where's Darkrai, bro? Darkrai, there he is. There's Darkrai. Could also be an option. I think the Lodge N has hypnosis, right? I don't have them, so I don't remember. Let's see. I think there's a few Eggmons that sleep too. I think, was it like Tech Venusaur or something? Or is it Executor? There's one of them, or both. I don't know. Could also sleep. You can maybe check some of those. Anyways, moving on to our old friend Entei. I mean, Entei's come back so many times that generally people should have a decent idea of how to deal with him. Again, just flinch him. He gets destroyed by flinch. Again, if you want to sleep him, you could do that too, but I'd rather use sleep more on Bulu and then like flinch on Entei maybe. Right? Just because Entei's so much more weak to flinch. But yeah, that's like the main stuff. And in terms of damage, right? I mean, it's water, right? So like Hydro Pump, Cyrus, obviously should do good. The Lodge May should be really nice there as well, since she has mostly super effective, multipliers. This May, obviously, for also Rain. Chris should be nice, especially with the grid update. The Lodge Rosa and Silver, both of them should be pretty solid. All right, they could also debuff opponent's physical damage, so you could also run them, with physical damage dealer. Same thing with SS Grimsley, also physical damage debuffer potentially, right? Wallace maybe has a bit of a nuke. Pretty hard to set up, but I mean, the nuke isn't hard. It's just like his offensive stats. Barry, obviously, very, very good nuke there as well. Same thing with Nessa, both nuke and DPS. Gloria could probably explode the thing. This Gloria should be maybe not as good as the other one, but should still be good too. Right? She has a pretty decent nuke. She'll probably tank a bit too, among other things. Kyogre, obviously, come on. What else? The Holiday Seabolt should be alright. Has a pretty good nuke there as well. You could also debuff the opponent's accuracy, so maybe you could try to debuff its accuracy a bit early on, so the fire spin misses. As for like tanks, generally like tanks that could like quick cure are gonna be solid, or have escape artists, right? That just doesn't have to worry about the trap, right? Or tanks that could maybe buff their own evasion, and you're try and dodge it maybe, or could lower the opponent's accuracy. Although there's not that many tanks that could lower accuracy. But yeah, those could all be options. If you're worried about that last part a little bit, maybe someone who could cure burns, I guess. But yeah, tanks that could flinch definitely are gonna have a really, really, really solid spot here as well, right? So yeah, yeah. Let's talk about a bit about some flinch units. You can have someone like that's the wrong stage, Kukui, right? Kukui could flinch. Also, I forgot to recolor these guys. I just had them at the same colors as the last set. Sorry about that. So yeah, so this Steven could flinch very well, right? He could probably carry. Who else do we have in terms of damage dealers that could also flinch, right? I mean, Deoxys can, although Deoxys is so good. Again, you probably use them against all three, which in that case, you probably want to use it against the hardest one, which is Tornadus. So yeah, maybe save him for something else. He could flinch a bit, all right? Not the most reliable, but he could try. Emmett with Rock Slide, he could also flinch relatively well. Raihan could flinch a bit with Rock Slide as well, but again, there's a lot of options. Yeah, you could probably go with Raihan. So yeah, I believe Singsu Brock has aggravation on his Rock Slide too. So yeah, it's just like units with Rock Slide that aren't like main damage dealers like SS Brock's just gonna be slightly annoying in terms of like gauge wise, but if you pair it with like a relatively strong team or a team that doesn't have any gauges, that could be nice. I suppose another one could be Paladin's Marnie, but do be a bit careful because she is weak to fire, right? So there is that. So yeah, just make sure just flinch lock that thing so it never like sinks your damage dealer, which in this case Marnie, right? So yeah, just flinch chain the thing forever. Very easy, obviously. I believe Holiday Nessa also has flinch on ice, aggravation on Icicle Crash. That should be what, 60% or so chance of flinch, which is pretty good as well. Kimono Grimsley with the Iron Head. He also has that could also help. SC Diantha does have I think staggering on her Aura Sphere, right? She could also tank. She could also nuke. So she should be a bit of a machine on her own, right, against Entei as well. As for Eggmons, there's like tons of like flinching Eggmons. There's like so many. Like can't even go over all of them. Also the Striker Gyarados, right, should be nice too. There's a few, if you're in need of water type damages. I think also the Tech Blastoise also has rain, so if you want an extra rain unit to help your water type damages, that could also be nice. Winona also sets rain, right? Almost forgot about her. In terms of units that could set rain. You also do have the new Vaporeon, right, who could also rain on Sync. Crasher Wake should be a very powerful unit against Entei as well. And also Seabolt should be pretty solid. He also, I think, does he have staggering or am I tripping? No, I don't think so. But yeah, regardless, he should have a relatively nice water nuke at least that you could throw at him. This guy, you think he has aggravation on Ironhead as well? I don't remember what he's weak to, so if he is weak to fire, just be careful there, I guess. You can have staggering on Skyla if you really want. Acerola has, if you do have it unlocked, right? Aggravation on the Astonish, that could be really nice. I mean, there's a lot of Astonish units that could be helpful. Nanu, right? Chance to flinch there, could also debuff physical defense, which could be nice. Tate, I believe, also has flinch on the Zen Headbutt aggravation, so he could also be of use. Oh, Elio, not a flinch here, but he can put them to sleep, so you could use him against Bulu, although he might be weak to grass. But if you do run him against, it's either grass or electric. If you do use him against Entei, you could also, when the opponent's already like asleep, you could throw in some of your DPS in there. It's not gonna be anything great, but it's water. You could do some stuff there. I believe he also has flinch, I think, right? Well, I mean, has flinch, but like aggravation on his air slash, right? So yeah, that's another option. Oh, low key, Mr. Hugh might actually be pretty decent. He has aggravation on headbutt, right? And as long as you don't just go around like head smashing and like taking yourself out, you just like headbutt, like flinch lock that guy, and then like sync nuke. He should be pretty good. I think he has aggravation on his Zen headbutt, I believe. So that could be another pretty useful unit. BP Morty, pretty good flincher. I mean, there's so many flinchers. There's no way I could go like over all of them. Like this BP Zinnia is another flincher. There's just so many, bro. You could close your eyes and like pick a unit, and there's like a solid chance that unit could like flinch. Let me Grant, I guess. Again, bad on gauges, but you know, just for a few turns maybe. Why not? You could at least get that bit. What else down here? I think Eevee has the flinch in its grid as well. Although Eevee is a really just good defense support as overall, right? So maybe not. Don't want to use it against Entei. But yeah, I don't know. There's probably like 10 more like right in front of me that I'm not like noticing right now. But yeah, there's a lot of freaking like flinch units. There's a lot of units that could flinch. Just use them, man. Just use them. Also, obviously, SS Chris for rain and tanking and just being insanely good overall as of a unit. So yeah, that's most of like the flinch units. Wait, did we put Lissia in there already? Oh, no. I think we ran Lissia against Bulu, right, for defog. I mean, you can do either. Flinch for Entei or flinch and defog for Bulu, right? Oh, low-key, a really nice tank over here could be, like, Lana, because Lana has, like, group fire guard or whatever. Plus, she could, you know, heal herself, all that stuff. So, if you throw some crit her way, all right, she could be a, you know, bit of a machine against Entei herself as well. And there's others. There's, like, you know, SS Blue, whatever. Could be a nice unit run there. I think SC Lily, I think also has Astonish, right? I mean, there's just so many good units that you could use against Entei, right? So really depends on what you want to do there yourself, because there's a billion ways to take down this guy. All right. So as for the rest, I guess we'll just go over a few maybe like interesting ones that we could talk about. Like for like they're just like the really good units overall. Right, probably just throw them at whichever stage that you have the least amount of units for. Again, in most people's case, probably going to be Tornadus, right? So like units like SS May, or just like you should throw them in there and just have them like explode Tornadus, like Renegade Cynthia, whatever, Lucas, like these kind of units. Annie May, SS Luz, I mean, Summer Marnie low key could also tank as well, right? Although, she better against. I don't know. She's good everywhere. Again, like as a Steven, Lear, right? These kind of just monsters, right? In their own right, you could just throw them against anything. Hilda, Victini, right? So yeah, maybe Summer End to an extent could be that as well. SS Serena, SS Red, these sort of guys, right? Maybe SS Emmett, not SC Emmett, SS Leon maybe, right? So yeah, a lot of really just decent units that could just do a lot of things. As for anything else over here that could be slightly interesting, Drafferig's a really good unit, right? Low cost gauge wise, really good gauge wise, right? Could debuff opponent's special defense as well as their physical attack. So like maybe if you run it against like Bulu, that could be a really good option alongside like a special damage dealer or anyone that really needs some wildfires. Oh, that's this Karina, that's also a really big one too. I guess units like Gordy could also be really good, right? If you're running any other like fire units or whatever on the team. Raihan, there's a billion ways to use this guy, right? There's so many different things you could put him up against and such, right? Or not up against, but alongside, right? If you need Sun or Sandstorm or super effective up this or that, right? Just does a lot of different things. Same with Bede, right? With the Psychic Terrain that he could set, or Sun if you really need that as well, and all the debuffs that he could bring to the table. So yeah, there's just a lot of really nice units. I mean, Sydney has heals, has nukes. This guy has like speed buffs. That's all. There's so many good gauntlet units, man. Like even the units like Viola, low-key, right? You can maybe use her to probably like tank Tornadus if you have a good enough damage healer, right? She'd be pretty good against like Tornadus, those special attack debuffs, special defense buffs, gradual heals, all that stuff. She could be again pretty good there. Yeah, I mean it's gauntlet. She's gotta. It's creativity, right? I mean, like Hapu, like one of the worst, bottom dweller units. I mean, you could legitimately pair her up with like SS Luzmine or May for like hide and sink multipliers and such, right? I mean, there's a lot of things you could do with units like that, right? Yeah. Yeah. Defense debuffs, ground zone, all that. He could be a pretty good damage dealer in his own right. Solgaleo, Sunsteel Strike could go through the Tornadus damage mitigation if you really need that. This is Wally, obviously, if you want to pair it with any of the fairy units that you're running against some, you know, maybe him with like Palatine Serena or something. That could be really, really nice. The extra debuffs here and there. So, you know, even units like Fall Ace are one of the worst. It's all, you know, it's a relatively cheap physical defense debuffer, right? That you could run maybe. A lot of uses for a lot of different units. So, anyways, yeah, that's really this one, I guess. I hope y'all generally guys think in the comments down below. Like, enjoyed the videos from the channel for some more Poemaz content. I'll try to do a bit of a streak. No promises, but we'll see what we can do this time. I should have a decent amount of time after Thursday, because Thursday is my graduation ceremony, which I unfortunately have to go. I would much rather be doing Legendary Gauntlet at home than go to some ceremony, but you know, I kind of have to go to it. So anyways, all right, have fun, folks. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. I'll see you guys in the next one.